Hello again, guys. It's Sunday, so you know what that means. It's time for another chapter from A Weapon of Magical Destruction, Agents of A.S.E.T, book number 1. I hope you guys have been enjoying it so far. Today's chapter is going to be an exciting one. I'm always a fan of really good action scenes. So I love to write action scenes myself. And this one is an introduction to a character that he's fun. He's a really fun character, and he's one that plays a very important role in Sage's development and throughout the entire series. He's a really important character, but he's all about action. So I'm really excited about today's chapter. Does that count as the first author flub? I'm already tripping over my own tongue. I'm not even reading a story yet, and I'm already tripping over my own tongue. Good Lord. All right, so we're going to have to keep a count on that. We'll call that number 1. At the end of the reading, we'll have to tally up how many times I trip over myself. Anyways, so last week we talked about doing a contest for these wonderful, beautiful, my favorite bookmarks, super shiny. And I got a couple of suggestions, but I'm kind of hoping for a little bit more, and maybe people need a little more time. So I'm going to extend the suggestion portion of our contest for one more week and see if we can get a few more just options and ideas, because I really want to make this fun, and I want to try and reach the widest possible audience. So we'll give it one more week, and I've got some good suggestions right now, and I want to thank you guys who have sent in a couple suggestions, but I want to get a couple more so I can really round it out. So we'll give it one more week, and these are still up for grabs. Remember, the winner of the suggestion portion of our contest is going to get 3 of these in one set just for helping. And then when we'll run the contest, the winner of the contest will get another set. So let's jump on in. Chapter 6, still using Hunter's handwritten bookmark. And again, keep count of how many times I trip over my tongue, because you know it's going to happen. All right. When life tries to kick you in the nuts, fight back. After wallowing in her own misery, wondering what she was going to do for work, Sage was looking forward to the opportunity to punch something hard. Her mother had always been a gym rat, and Sage shared the love of burning out aggression through a rigorous session of weightlifting and cardio. Even stressed and at her breaking point, Sage looked forward to throwing herself into a merciless routine. Pushing her muscles to the limits actually sounded refreshing. She'd only just started a membership at Bulwark Gym. 2 days a week, 1 mixed martial art class, and 1 personal session comprised exactly the kind of ball-busting workout she needed. Sweat poured down her forehead as she grappled with the 7-foot-tall steamroller, Devin, her personal trainer. Struggling to gain enough leverage, Sage failed time and time again to throw him onto the mats. "You're distracted." Victory glinted in his silvery eyes as Devin swept her leg, sending Sage crumpling to the padded ground. "I send you away for a few days and look at you." His taunting, however well-meaning, scratched an itch she really didn't want to touch. In less than a week, her life her life had been turned upside down. How could she not be anything but distracted? She hesitated, and he came down on top of her before she could roll out of the fall. Straddling her torso, he snatched her arms and pinned them above her head. "Distraction is a weakness. Weakness makes you a victim, Sage. What are you going to do? Say, how many have I already tripped over already? Jeez, I can't read today. Devin's weight squeezed the air from her lungs. He was easily double her size and had muscles for days. In other words, he was just the kind of person that she was learning to defend against. Small as she was, there would never be a chance for her to have a fair fight. She would always be the underdog. Miranda had made it look easy. Her mother had neither the bulk nor size, but she had always been able to overcome those disadvantages. I can read, I really can. Sage's inspiration to look into self-defense. And with Mom dead, this was even more important, honoring the memory. Though Sage may never be as graceful, she certainly wasn't at the moment. Wriggling underneath Devin's massive body like a worm. Leverage. She needed leverage. "You're going to have to do better than that," he yelled 2 inches from her face, those steely silver eyes daring her to make a move. "You're crushing my lungs," Sage groaned, refusing excuse me, Sage groaned, frustrated by her own weakness. Devon had demonstrated this hold only a week ago, and she'd been able to get out of it. How had she done it so easily then? It was, excuse me, if I was some asshole out there on the street, I'd be doing a hell of a lot worse. Now what are you going to do to stop me? Cruel in his methods, Devon wasn't the kind of trainer who let you wuss out of things. She knew the only way that he was going to get off was if she figured out how to make him. If only she could remember the right maneuver. Other people in the gym had stopped to stare. Embarrassment seared her cheeks. She didn't hear their laughter. God, I can't read. She didn't need to hear their laughter to know that they were enjoying the spectacle of her failure. Devon shook her wrist as a reminder. Focus! That's what I need today. Focus. Ouch. His physical cue was just what she needed to kickstart her memory. Jerking her arms in different directions, she threw him off guard. As he adjusted his grip, she shifted her hips, finally finding the leverage she needed. And then she threw all of her weight to the side and escaped his grasp. As she came around on top of him, Sage finished with a mock punch to his jaw. Sloppy, Devon said, clearly unimpressed. That was a simple hold. I shouldn't have had to remind you how to break it. His voice had all the authority of a drill sergeant and the volume to match. No doubt, everyone else in the gym was getting a great show as he dressed her down publicly. Devon Cade was not known for his gentle approach, but he was known for strength and expertise in multiple forms of combat. The awards hanging on the wall were proof of that. Bad week. Sweat ran down in fat drops down her face as she struggled to maintain her breath and stood and wiped her brow. Rest. We're going again. Sorry, reset. We're going again. What is wrong with me today? I don't know. I just don't know. Devon pointed to the mat. A bad week is no excuse. Channel that negativity into something useful, like not getting your ass handed to you. Sir, yes, sir, she responded jokingly, trying to fight aggression with laughter as she caught her breath and prepared to go again. Was that supposed to be funny? Devon's glare darkened. Sort of, she shrugged nervously. Let me remind you that you are here to learn how to defend yourself, and if you want to play around and have fun, go take Zumba and giggle with your girlfriends. I didn't mean anything by it. Don't waste my time. If you're not serious, I will happily refund your membership. She'd wanted to be taught by the best, if she ever hoped to be even a shadow of her mother's greatness, and Devon was the best. The sobering reminder that she paid for the privilege of being yelled at and mocked in the name of developing skills. To protect herself, wiped all of the emotions from her face. She dropped into fighting stance. Let's do this. He came in hard and fast, stepping into her personal space with a close strike aimed at her chin. She blocked with one arm and countered, throwing her elbow out. Good, he yelled, backing away before her elbow connected with his chin. But don't get cocky, kid. She snorted with a laugh and was rewarded by an immediate kick aimed at her knees. Pivoting a little, she narrowly avoided being taken down. Don't guess, anticipate, he barked at her. Watch me, watch my muscles, watch the sway of my stance. There are clues for the observant. He was as fast as a viper and preyed on her distraction. If she'd blink, he'd strike. If she wasn't watching his feet, he'd kick. It was all meant to teach her, she understood, but frustrating just the same. He expected her to be a mind reader when it came to an attack, and that was a magic she simply didn't have. However, Sage heeded his words and forced herself to focus, breathing slowly as she watched his movements. Her eyes darted from his arms to his legs, catching the shift in his hips. Rounding on Devon as quickly as she could, she successfully blocked the fist that came cross-body towards her face, but missed the foot that followed. You'll know I'm coming for you. Quit being the victim. Devon growled. Don't pretend. Don't pretend I'll stop with a single strike. Keep your head in the game. It's your job to make sure I can't hit you again. There was no point in answering him. Anything she said would only invite more taunting, and she was certain that others in the gym had abandoned their sparring to watch her get her ass handed to her. She couldn't blame them. She'd be salting the popcorn too if it was anybody else in the ring. Might as well give him a good show. Focusing on his upper body this time, she watched for the telling twitches and the tingling and the tightening of muscles. Sweat stung in her eyes, but blinking would be the end of her. He'd strike and then kick while she was down. Lose hard until you learn how to win. The motto was scrawled out across the doors on the locker room. No doubt Devin claimed that as his personal quote. Lose hard until you learn to win. As tiring and frustrating as the session was turning out to be, it had taken her mind off her troubles, and for that she was endlessly thankful, but she remained alert. His left bicep twitched. Anticipating the strike, she instinctively brought her arms up, crossed to block. He came in hard, a freight train of muscles, bent on crashing through her defenses. Her stance lacked balance, and she knew they'd both end up on the ground, but in a moment of frantic defense, she brought her knee up. Somehow, through the blur of motions, she managed to connect with his groin, earning a satisfying groan from Devin. They toppled to the ground, but Sage quickly maneuvered back to her feet to face him. He clutched his stomach, his eyes narrowing with strain. Sage smiled inwardly, mentally high-fiving herself as she saw his jaw set tight to hide the pain. He told her to stop him, and it appeared, at least for the moment, that she'd done it. No matter how tough a person is, if you find their soft spot, you can send them to their knees. Her mother had said that to her years before. Sage had always been small, and kids like to pick on small people. Fighting dirty was sometimes the only way to avoid getting beaten up. That was one bit of self-defense that she had mastered. When in doubt, kick him in the nuts. Or use a knee. Either way, it gets results for most men. Well played. His eyes watered in pain, but his voice didn't betray any feelings. Lucky, I guess. She reached out and grasped his forearm. For someone of your stature, that's probably your best move. Flex for me. She made a muscle, but she had no bulk. Years of going to the gym had given her well-toned arms, but as scrawny as she was, they lacked the definition or thickness that usually translated to strength. Even when she flexed as hard as she could, her arms looked like twigs compared to Devin's. She saw the flicker of doubt in his eyes. Devin dropped her arm and took a step back, scrutinizing her, looking up and down as he took stock of her physical appearance. Make a fist, he ordered. She brought both arms up in a boxer stance, double-fisted, wondering if he was about to initiate another round of sparring. Slowly, he reached out, holding his hands unthreateningly as he took hold of her left hand and corrected her thumb placement. His eyes landed on her deformity, and she held her breath, waiting for the usual round of questions, knowing she couldn't smart off to him no matter how sick she was of hearing people ask about that damn mark. I saw your instincts kick in back there. You're not entirely untrainable. She was shocked when Devin didn't mention her mark. And the look on his face, not even a flicker of surprise. He didn't seem to care at all, save for the way she held her hands ready to strike. But if you want to truly be able to defend yourself, you're going to have to put in a little meat on those bones. She smiled at his praise. He wasn't the type to blow smoke up your ass, to ensure somebody that keeps paying a membership fee. Weights might actually help you. How often do you exercise? Other than classes here? Obviously. I try to get in an hour of cardio after work most days. Do you have a personal trainer or access to one? Devin asked. Other than you? She winced, realizing that losing her job, she'd quickly run out of money to pay her membership fees. No, too broke for that. I want you to start adding muscle groups to your rotations. Cardio is useless by itself. If you want true strength, you need to work on those muscles. I'm not trying to be the Hulk, she replied with a laugh, hoping that he'd get it. Devin didn't crack a smile. Tiny as you are, it's never going to happen. So, leg day, arm day, core? She asked, hoping he'd say no. Some families were religious and attended mass and confession and Bible study multiple times a week. Not hers. The Cynwrigs prayed in the house of pain. She had been well versed in the teachings of weight training and cycling from an early age. And though she appreciated the way she looked and felt because of it, the monotony had bored her to tears. Kickboxing, Krav Maga, and other forms of combat fighting were much more interesting forms of prayer and penance, though she still attended the treadmills with fervent regularity. Exactly. A smile cracked through his stony expression, but she knew better than to take it as an approval. I'm going to give you a routine to work through. You've got some hidden strength in there. Let's see if we can pull it into the surface. In other words, she was in for a brutal workout regime. Sage could already hear her muscles screaming in protest, but she couldn't reveal that to Devin. Sounds fun, she lied. Like I said, if you're not committed, there's the door. I'm here to make you better than you are now. If that means kicking your ass and tearing you a new one, so be it. But I'm not wasting my time or effort on a quitter. I never said I was quitting. You didn't have to. It's there, in your eyes. Damn him and his Jedi-like senses. Sage sighed, but before she could defend herself, he continued. I see 100 girls like you come in here every month. You think you're a badass because you're taking street fighting classes. Ain't no sexual predator gonna mess with me. He waved his hand in the air and planted it on his hip in a diva-like move that would have made Matt drop his jaw. Learning a few moves doesn't make you a badass. Most of those 100 girls a month that come knocking at my door get sent back to the black belt farms and McDojos. There are plenty of gyms that'll take your money and kiss your ass. You pay them enough, they'll give you a damn Medal of Honor, but not in my gym. You have potential, Sage. What are you going to do with it? She nodded, not sure that she could say anything after his motivational tirade that would be appropriate. Go clean up and see me on the way out. Devin turned and headed for the front office. Suddenly realizing everyone in the gym was staring at her, Sage lowered her head and made quick work of disappearing into the locker room. Truth be told, if she really had lost her job, she might not be able to afford to work out in this gym anymore. But damn it if his Tony Robbins-esque pep talks didn't make her want to rise to the occasion. If she managed to keep it up, she might one day reach the same level of badassery as her mom. All right, so there's chapter 6. And again, this character is one that is, he's really good. He helps her a lot, and she needs this kind of mentor that isn't just going to give her words of wisdom, but is going to literally knock the sense into her. So Devin is a favorite character of mine, and he will definitely be playing more parts as we go. We're getting towards the end now of Sage's introduction into this world. So I know the intro to this book is a little bit longer, but that's because we're building on the elements of the world that are different from Sage's normal world. So the next couple of chapters are really going to show us the new world that Sage is in and how dangerous it is. So starting with chapter 7, we're going to see a little bit more of that. Anyways, so let's check in with those that have been watching and reading along with. I hope you guys are enjoying. Hello. Yes, the children are doing good. Distance learning is driving us all crazy right now, but we're managing and we're holding on to sanity as best we can. I hope you're doing well. Oh no, the contest over under. How many author flubs? Did we get a numbers? Did we get a number, Rebecca? I'll wait for you to post that reply. Let's see. Who can tell what happens in the next chapter before you read it? Oh, that's fun. I like that idea. For now. My tongue isn't working today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't talk. I can't read. Who gets the most people to watch? The rules are people watching have to tag the person who invited them. I do like the tagging. That's a good way to do it. Oh, 7. Good Lord. Try putting your glasses on. What? They're on. They're on. Do I need a bigger prescription? I don't know if you can tell, but I'm farsighted, so they're magnifying lenses. Anybody puts my glasses on, they can literally see into the future. That's how bad my prescription is. It's really, really horrible. Another pair. Maybe then I can see into the future. And it's funny because I'm reading words that I've already written. You'd think I would be better at repeating them, but no. Read more. So we've already run long this week. I'm trying to keep the videos around about 20 minutes because that seems to be easy for people to just log in, follow along. Doesn't take too much time out of your day. So I'm sticking to the 1 chapter a week until I get to either a super small chapter or if there's a couple in a row, I might read those together. I guessed it would be 5, but you did over 9. And yes, I like McDojos too. And I can't take credit for that word. A friend of mine who, I'm not sure exactly what position he has. He teaches jiu-jitsu, and he had coined that phrase as far as I knew of McDojos. And I loved it. I was like, I have to use this somewhere. That's such a brilliant way to say it, because if you've ever gone through any kind of martial arts programs, there are so many that do feel like they are just cookie cutter. They run on schedules, and after you've paid so much, you get your belt. It doesn't matter if you're learning the skills, and McDojo just fits so well with that. So I had to use it. So many jokes to make about your tongue. Yes, and I do expect you to post them all, Rebecca. All right, guys. So we're right about at the 20-minute mark. So like I said, I'm trying to keep these to about 20 minutes to make them easy. So we'll be back next week. I'm still taking some more recommendations for contest ideas to do the giveaway for the lovely metallic bookmarks. Let's see. There we go. Trying to avoid the glare, but show the light reflection there. They're so pretty. Anyways, so next week we will check back in. I will post the results from our contest, and we will start up the actual contest and see what we can do about giving away some more of these really lovely bookmarks. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me, for listening, for reading along. This is so much fun for me, and knowing that you guys are out there, just it makes it so rewarding. So thank you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you again next Sunday for Chapter 7. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.